Hi there, this is the Black Mormon Reader with a continuation of the 5th chapter of Jacob. All the trees in the vineyard are producing bad fruit, and now the trees themselves are good for nothing but firewood to be used for cooking, to keep warm on a cold and winter's night. The Lord of the vineyard complains to the servant. He basically asks two questions. What more could I have done? I've done all that I know how to do. And who is it that has corrupted my vineyard? The servant, let's pick up on what the servant says. And it came to pass that the servant said unto the master, Is it not the loftiness of thy vineyard? Have not the branches thereof overcome the roots, which are good? And that sounds pretty good to me. That sounds pretty good to me. But the Lord of the vineyard says, and it came to pass that the Lord of the vineyard said unto the servant, Let's go and hew down the trees of the vineyard and cast them into the fire. He does not even listen to his servant. Perhaps it is the loftiness of this man who owns this vineyard, who have been so arrogant as to plant an olive tree in the vineyard in the first place. The servant does not give up. But behold, the servant said unto the Lord of the vineyard, Spare it a little longer. Spare it a little longer. And somehow he managed to convince the Lord of the vineyard to hearken unto him. And so the Lord of the vineyard says, Wherefore, let us take the branches of the trees which I have planted in the hithermost part of my vineyard, and let us graft them into the tree from whence they came, going back to the first tree. And let us pluck from that tree those branches whose fruit is most bitter, and graft into the natural branches of the tree in their stead. And I will do this perhaps that the roots thereof may take strength because of their goodness, and because of the change of the branches, that the good may overcome the bad. So he's going to do an old switcheroo. He's going to take the branches, the bitter branches from the original tree, and he's going to graft them into the branches of the trees that were scattered in the good soil and in the poor soil. So he's going to do a switcheroo. He's coming up with a plan, and they did labor, and they start doing this, and as they begin to grow, clear away the branches which bring forth bitter fruit, according to the strength of the good and the size thereof, and ye shall not clear away the bad thereof all at once, lest the roots thereof should be too strong for the graft, and the graft thereof shall perish, and I will lose the trees of my vineyard. Ye shall clear away the bad according as the good shall grow, and that the roots and the top may be equal in strength, until the good shall overcome the bad, and the bad be hewn down and cast into the fire, that they come of the ground not. Of the ground not of my vineyard, and thus I will sweep away the bad out of my vineyard. So this is the plan, and this is what takes place. And they labor, and the master of the vineyard also labors with them, and there began to be natural fruit again in the vineyard, and the natural branches began to grow and thrive, and the wild branches began to pluck off and to be cast away, and they did not keep the root and the top thereof equal according to the strength thereof, and thus they all labored diligently, even until the bad had been cast away out of the vineyard. And the trees became again the natural fruit, and they began like unto one body, and the fruit was equal. And the Lord of the vineyard had preserved unto himself the natural fruit, which was most precious to him from the beginning. So everything goes back to its original tree. And it came to pass, when the Lord of the vineyard saw that his fruit was good, that his vineyard was no more corrupt, he called his servants unto him, and he said, Behold, this is the last time that I'm going to do this. And blessed art thou, for because ye have been diligent in laboring with me in my vineyard, and have kept my commandments, and have brought me again the natural fruits, that my vineyard is no more corrupt, and the bad is cast away. Behold, ye shall have joy with me because of the fruit of my vineyard. Let's hurry to the last verse. And when the time cometh that the evil fruit shall again come into my vineyard, the evil fruit shall then come into my vineyard after all this work, then will I cause the good and the bad to be gathered, and the good will I preserve unto myself, and the bad will I cast away into its own place. And then cometh the season and the end, and my vineyard will I cause to be burned with fire. We can take many things from this long allegory in the 5th chapter of Jacob. We can see the Lamanites and the Nephites. We can see the Gentiles and the house of Israel. I myself see the tree, the olive tree, being planted in the vineyard, which is the wrong place for the olive tree to be planted. Absolutely the wrong place for that tree to be planted. Jesus says that one should not cast his pearls before the swine. Of course, there are exceptions there. There are always these exceptions. But on that note, this is the Black Mormon Reader. Until next time.